Kane, we started the day talking about Porsches, and now you dragged me over the Cadillac.
Naturally.
Yeah, it doesn't seem natural. And look at the front of this thing, and then look at the one I sent you of the Lexus, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can see, Lexus went down this whole route of making their cars look like Transformers. So this car right here was like used to be my dream car back in the day.
Mm.
When I was younger, I had a bunch of these Lexus GS cars, and you're always waiting for them to come out with the GSF. They finally did like 10 years later, and by then I'm out there ordering like Porsches. But they went down this route with this grill. Now go back to the Cadillac. It's like, can we be a little more original? Um, I don't know.
Dude, does it like technically does it need a it's not a grill, right? That's just painting because it's an electric car.
Well, it was a defeat the purpose. Well, that's not true because I believe there's still probably some kind of radiators on electric cars. Batteries get hot, right?
That's true.
And that type of stuff. So, I mean, I don't know because this is the first time I'm looking at this thing. But I mean, Dennis, what's your likelihood to buy an electric car in the next 3 years?
Honestly, it's very low percentage. I'm not ready yet.
Kane?
It's probably low, yeah.
I mean, I put a deposit on one of those electric Hummers just because I thought if I get another house, I'll just throw it in the garage and plug it in, and then it's there. But I probably have like 5 other cars. I'm still going to have my diesel truck. Like I'm not getting rid of my diesel truck just yet. And there's an issue on the semi trucks where because it's like a weight thing. By the time you put the batteries on a semi truck to get the distance they need to go, and then if you factor in the cargo, then it far exceeds it far exceeds the regulations. So that's why we probably haven't seen these semi trucks pop up yet. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep my diesel truck for towing purposes. It's coming. Do you have some stats on like what percentage of people want to buy?
Yeah. So according to this Forbes Wheel survey, 23% said that they would consider that as their next car. Consider purchasing an electric vehicle.
And Dennis, you would consider it, right? You wouldn't rule it out. That doesn't mean you're going to.
I've definitely considered it. I've always looked at getting a Tesla, but there still needs to be a lot more selling on their end to get me to be a buyer.
My thing is, and I'm looking at Cadillac and the CTS-V, 550, 650 horsepower variant of the CTS. You see those things rocketing around here. I mean, that's the perfect platform to go throw an electric powertrain in. It's a rocket, right? But it's like when I sit in Teslas, I don't like Teslas. They look like the Wally cars to me. I'm a car culture person. I like that. You can't compare that Tesla to like what are the Porsches you and I always look at, Kane? 70s, late 80s type Porsches.
Yeah, the air cooled stuff.
Yeah, it's like that's got design to it. I look at a Tesla and it's like this thing's a coffee cup on wheels, and it's just it's not that exciting to me for 100,000. I want it all for 100. I want the electric powertrain. I want the interior design, not just an iPad slapped in the middle of the dash. I want exterior design. I want the wheels. I want it all. Do you get that, Dennis? You like sporty. Do you get that feeling from Tesla?
No, I mean that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't buy it yet. All these other car manufacturers are coming out with their electric vehicles, and they actually look better than the Tesla to me. So we'll see where it goes, but I'm still not interested in getting an electric vehicle.
That old school Cadillac STS. Like they had these like in the 90s. I think you got a photo, Kane. These are like everyone in my neighborhood growing up in the 90s like wanted this car. This was like the gangster car. Like throw an electric powertrain on this thing. It's got 2 like lazy boy. The front chairs like seats are so big. 2 lazy boys in the front, put electric powertrain in this thing. turn the center console into a little refrigerator. Like, I don't know who needs a Bentley if you got this thing with an electric powertrain.
Yeah.
They probably had a bunch of these cars where you grew up too. Now that I think about it, I don't know if you remember seeing those around or not.
No, I definitely did. Close family members. I remember driving in these. We didn't have one, but they're definitely a little bit more common.
And there was that Lincoln Mark V or Mark VII that the rich people had, right? And times done changed. Okay, would you buy an electric Cadillac?
Well, no, but I don't know. The thing that I think electric cars have to compete with is like this natural. So when you're a kid, you think, okay, I want to buy this car and that car and that car, and I don't think that trajectory leaves, right? Like, so when you guys were talking about potentially buying electric cars earlier, like I feel like electric car has to replace the car that I wanted to get if I could afford the next car that I wanted to get when I was a kid, right? And so not only does it need to compete on like a technical level, it needs to compete with the preference that I have that I've held on to for a long time. So I think electric cars have a long way to go. You've got to be, not only are they expensive, but you're competing with something else, I think.
Did you make that more complicated?
Sorry. So I'll make it easy. So the next car that I wanted to get was like probably like an RS something from Audi. Maybe
RS, like RS6.
Maybe that or like one of the like a QS maybe. Is that the sport SUV one?
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
So that's the car that I've had in my dreams for the longest time. They have to compete with my image of me in that car, right? The electric car. So they've got more than just like, oh, this car is better than that car. They've got to compete with like an image thing.
So then what if, and I wouldn't doubt Audi already has one, but it's like what, the RSQ8 or something, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's a nice platform. There might already be an electric powertrain in that. So like that would just, to me, that's what you do. You come through on the BMW X5, electric powertrain. You come through and the GLS on Benz, you throw electric power, like you just, but I think once you do that, and then you start seeing, a lot of times you don't see the plans of putting electric powertrains in cars we already have. They come up with a whole new car.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because if they showed you the price difference between if you bought a BMW X5 and I can get the turbocharged V8 loaded up M50i for 94,000, but the electric version is going to be 135. Same car, same interior, same everything, just change the powertrain. You go like, why am I spending $40,000 more?
Right.
It's probably faster. But then it's like they won't let you just make that, like, put the value proposition right in front of you because it disappears really fast. So what they have to do is give you a whole new car that there's nothing that you can compare it to. Because if you can make direct comparisons, then you start realizing how much more electric cars are than, ICE engines. Dennis, you're not paying for the privilege of $40,000 more to have an electric, right?
No, definitely not.
And you get an argument with a family member. It's like, oh, electric cars are cheaper. And I'm like, but only if you compare like gas to the cost of electricity. You paid a premium for that car, and I feel like you got less features. So by the time you factor in, you spend $20,000 more. I could buy a lot of goddamn gas for $20,000, by the way. And I think that's where we're at. And then the second issue, which have you seen anyone talk about this? Do you think the federal government, state government, any government, whatever, is going to not tax the hell out of electricity at some point?
I mean, eventually they're going to have to, no?
Right now, what's our gas tax, like 50, 60 cents for every gallon? Like, do we think that cost isn't coming on the electric side or more? It's, right now, the electric cars benefit from not getting really slammed with that, as far as I know. And I don't have an electric car. Maybe someone out there can drop a comment and say, hey, they do tax you on that. But right now, I feel the electric cars are skirting a lot of those gas taxes. So once that goes, then in the end, electricity is going to end up costing as much as gas, right?
Yeah.
And that'll be partly from regulation, local, state, and federal taxes. And then we're going to go sit here. It's like, well, damn, if I knew that, I just would have stuck with the gasoline.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this in other episodes, James, but the idea that we switch to this reliance on the electric grid and then that becomes the vulnerability, I think is something that isn't weighed too. There's like an independence around the ability to go fuel up that I think isn't factored. And then that big premium that you guys were talking about to own an electric car, I think it's a tough premium to pay when you consider all these other things that are happening as well.
I think energy storage is going to be the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, you get those big batteries you put on the wall from like the Tesla Powerwall, Generac, and all these people. There's people putting, stacks of Battleborn lithium LiPo batteries, building their own, battery bank. And you realize like you got enough on the wall to like charge your car once and maybe run your house for a day. What happens when you got a power outage for 3 days? Right. These are things that I just will never forget of. I think from a national security standpoint, when you think about the amount of like gas stored in the ground at all the gas stations and refineries, we have a lot of stored energy. Do you know what it would take to store that energy in a battery? It's mind blowing how much and batteries will get better, right? It's just, I don't believe the commercial from Ford where the power's out. I'm just going to plug my truck into the house. And it's like, well, then I'm going to have a truck that's got no power and I can't go nowhere and my house is going to be out. I'm going to stick with my natural gas or propane generator. Yeah, no thanks.
I definitely have. Sorry, James, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I definitely have heard a lot more marketing messaging around the reverse charging, or is it called reverse charging? I think that's the term. Like that ability for the car to charge the house. I've heard that more.
Hey, we love fads and gimmicks, right?
Yeah.
Until you realize, whatever, you got a 50 kilowatt battery pack and your furnace kicks on. Well, it depends what kind of heat you're on, heat pump or gas or whatever, but it's cool. And we like cool. We fall for cool all the time. Have you ever noticed like iPhones have turned, not iPhones, but like mobile phones have turned into the like Gillette razor of the world?
No, what do you mean?
Well,
Gillette's got like 10 razors on one razor stick now, like something like that.
Yeah. Well, that's what they do with the camera lenses now. I could have swore I just saw a commercial where a phone had 5 lenses. And we keep falling for that, right? It's, this one's got 3 lenses instead of 2 lenses. I got to go buy it. And we fall for that stuff all the time. I'm going to plug my truck into the house. Have you ever been in a 3 or 4 day power outage before? It happens to me like once a year.
No. Not by choice.
Yeah. Only one that's going to show up is my Grubhub driver because he's got a car from 1987 that still takes gas. Oh man.
I always, think about a couple different things. Does the EV vehicle, level the playing field? Like I understand what Kane was saying, that he's always, because we all do it. We're looking to see what the next best car we can go buy. And I just feel like, does the EV vehicle, across the board between different manufacturers, does it level the playing field of like, well, if BMW has an EV car, what sets it apart from, a Kia electric vehicle? Like, are they changing the mindset of a consumer, especially the younger generation, where BMW, is it going to be a luxury vehicle in the future? Or, you know what I mean? Like, you're still going to be sitting in a car that's probably going to be as fast because the battery, it's important who's got the better battery. But why am I going to be spending more for a luxury electric vehicle than, some other manufacturer?
Such a good point.
I mean, why does Hermes charge like $18,000 for a Birkin bag. They
True.
got it's leather, right? Are they growing their own species of cow that they invented? But people still line up to buy it, right? I think one of the mistakes is you're going to see Ferrari and even Lamborghini start moving towards. Well, I mean, Lamborghini, I think I already said this will be the last V12 they do that's not a hybrid. Once they all go electric, what really makes a Ferrari the Ferrari or the Lamborghini if they all go electric? Yeah, the style, the brand. But to me, it's like having that, those V8s, those V10s, those V12s is what kind of makes them them. And now they're going to go get into an electric, if you just look at traction, we're only going to go so fast. And now all of a sudden your Tesla's going as fast as a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. And then it's like, why are you charging $400,000 for a Ferrari? And I think it might be a mistake to go down that route of going electric. Like, keep pumping out the V12 engines, keep pumping out the V8 engines, because that's what's going to make you. Tesla and Audi, everyone else is going to come out with electric cars that are just as fast as your quote unquote supercars. How do you win this battle other than just having a brand name and interior and exterior styling? That's it. Because the powertrain, what are you going to do? We're already going 1.90 to 60.
Right. This is going to show my ignorance on cars, but like, what is it about a car that when you turn left or right, you don't feel like you're going to fall out the window?
Now that's body roll, so that's suspension, right?
So you're right. So does electric car, does that affect your body roll?
The thing is, I'm no car expert. A lot of the batteries are down low, right? So you do keep a low center of gravity, which is cool. But a lot of it's just going to come down to suspension. Like, if you've ever been in a Porsche GT3 or any kind of supercar, and you feel how that thing drives. Even my track car, the Camaro ZL1 1LE. Can you drive that thing? I can. Those signs that say like take turn at 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could take it at like 50, and it's like making a right hand turn into a Starbucks. Right? It's you don't notice.
Wow.
So a lot of that's just suspension, right? On the rear of my car is dampers. I don't know if Tesla's at that level or put that kind of thought into it yet, because I'm not that deep into the brand. Dennis, your SUV drives very sporty, right? And it's up a little higher, but you enjoy driving that, right?
Oh yeah.
Speaking of sporty SUVs, pull that thing up. I'm telling Dennis, this is it. This is him. They finally are going to come out with the Escalade V, which has. I'm telling you, dude, go get the second mortgage before rates go up. Because this thing's going to probably be like a 125 plus. LT4 engine. I think it's got the same engine that's in my track car, my Camaro. But they dropped in, 668 horsepower into an Escalade. It's got all the technology, all the LEDs. It's a giant Range Rover at the end of the day. Would it matter to you, Dennis, if this thing came with a 668, V8 supercharged, or what if it was electric?
Right. Honestly, you're asking probably the wrong person, but as long as it's fast.
Yeah, I mean, electric would probably be faster. My thing is, I'm making a number up here because I have no idea what the hell this thing. I'm guessing these things are 100 without the V. Let's call it 115 with the V. That's 115 with a ICE, normal powertrain. To get this thing in a battery, electric version would probably be like 150. So again, would you spend? Well,
No.
shit. Yeah, you wouldn't. Man, let me finish. Because what the Tesla SUV? I mean, that's not even an SUV. They call it SUV. Isn't that thing like 100 plus by the time you get the options on it?
I think so. Yeah.
So by the time you get an electric powertrain, the batteries, and this thing's huge, so you need more battery, right? This thing's probably going to be 150. So yeah, you're not going to want to spend $35,000 to $50,000 more to get the electric powertrain in it. Plus, who in the right mind wants to spend $150 on a Cadillac Escalade? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's gonna be somebody, but it won't be me.
No, but I guarantee you, these things around here, Dennis, you're gonna see these things everywhere.
Oh yeah.
It's a part status symbol. I mean, they talked about doing like a Tahoe or a Yukon with the souped up engine for a while, 6.2 supercharged. And back in the day we had the Typhoon and there's another one I can't think of. It was a Cyclone. It was the Chevy Trailblazer and then the pickup truck that they were super fast, all-wheel drive. And people always loved those and they wanted to bring them back. SUVs got bigger and bigger and bigger, but this thought of throwing in 550 600 plus horsepower in these things, people are like, no one's going to buy it. I guarantee you people are going to buy these. Well, I don't know, gas is like 5 something a gallon right now, but the people buying these don't care. Gas could be $10 a gallon. They're still sitting around going, what recession? They don't care.
Yeah, it looks like the size of a school bus.
I mean, you could probably like live in that thing. I don't know, Dennis, that red's you.
That is like the color red.
That's it. The wheels,
Everything.
done deal. Put it on your refrigerator. Start dreaming.
I still have the Range Rover one up on my refrigerator, so it's gonna be replaced.
I'm happy to see them doing this. I mean, I like it all. I like my diesel engines. I like V8s, V10s, V12s. But I'm not. I told you I put a deposit on an electric Hummer. I don't want us to be on this race to like just get everything electrified as soon as possible. I think this is something we can take our time doing, and I also can't imagine there's probably 80% of the population who just can't afford it yet.
Yeah.
So we got a long road to go. But to think that electric prices aren't going to go up by the kilowatt is you're lying to yourself. And to think that all these taxes we pay for roads, unless they're going to start putting it on vehicle registration, that's all going to come. Next thing you know, it's going to be like 30, 40 cents a kilowatt. And then it's going to, where's the cost savings now? And then they'll convince you it's better for the environment. It's like, well, you told me it was going to be cheaper. So we'll see.
Yeah, great points.
Dennis is looking up Cadillac dealers right now.
I'm actually looking up charging stations. I'm just curious to think about, how many gas stations our countries have and why I don't see charging stations being built into gas stations already. Like, my thought is like the gas station owner makes the money off of the retail store. But if we're going to switch over to, EV type of, lifestyle, then I'd start thinking as a gas station owner, like I want to start implementing charging stations, but then you need a bigger parking lot because those are going to take up, whatever it is, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to charge your car. So it's going to take up more time in your parking lot. So, that's where my mind is going.
Well, let me tell you this. Gas stations are just going to go away. Think
about the real estate. Like, I mean, you're talking.
It's massive.
It's massive. Like,
but think about this: if you had a gasoline hose, I mean, there's times I have 55 gallon barrels of diesel in my yard, and I can just fill my truck up. So I don't go to a gas station sometimes. So knowing that's the same thing of what electric cars are. Unless you're driving more than 300 or 400 miles in a day, all those local gas stations near your home are no longer needed. So this thought that we're going to have charging stations everywhere where there's a gas station now, it's a fallacy. There's going to be these, from here to Chicago, you might need a fill-up point. From here to somewhere flat like Cleveland, you might need a charging station. But this high density of gas stations and suburban areas are gone. That's all gone. The only time you're going to need a charge is when you're doing extended trips, because every night you pull into your garage and you charge back up. You wake up in the morning and it's back it up. Like your gas tank's been filled to the brim every morning. There's no more of this. I'm rushing to get the kids from school. Oh man, a gas light came on. I got to stop at the Valero and get some gas right now. Dennis, those days are going to be gone, which means all those small businesses are probably going to get crushed too.
Small businesses, I gotta believe in order to transition a gas station, digging up whatever piping underneath the concrete, like that all is going to take a lot of money to do. I'm thinking about all the stores that provide, or stores, the candy manufacturers that have businesses with these gas station owners that are selling a lot of their products. Like there's going to be a tremendous drop in sales on their end. Like there's just, I don't, what does a charging station look like? Is it just a parking lot?
It's a parking lot with it looks like a gas pump, right? It's
right. That's what I mean. So like,
but you don't need nothing there. There's one out on 94 somewhere. It's like it's in the back of like a restaurant or something. And there's just like 4 or 5 of these electric stations. You just pull up and put your credit card in and charge, and you're out of there.
Right, like are rest stops going to have charging stations? Like that would be my next guess.
That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. There's going to be these regional places where if I need to get from here to the middle of the Upper Peninsula, there's a high probability I'm going to need to get some electricity somewhere. So along the road is going to be one of these spots, but you're just not going to need to have 25 gas stations inside a city anymore, because every night you go to your home and you get charged up again. There's just going to be not regional, because regional's too big, but there's going to be like kind of these areas of I'm going from here to here. Here's a station. This is why I think drive-throughs are going to rule the world. Go start opening up drive-through convenience stores right now, because people are still going to want to get cigarettes, candy, Red Bull, coffee, and you don't have the gas station anymore. Just do a drive-through convenience store. Tim Hortons, where you can get a Snickers bar. Let's go.
I don't know if they have them. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of a menu board with a touch screen. I want a Snickers bar, a pack of Marlboro Reds.
Hey man,
Starbucks vanilla flavored coffee.
Why can't you do that on an app before you even the drive-through window is just a pickup window? But people are going to keep buying stuff. It's just not going to be at a gas station. So, granted, we're a few years away from that, but I like the idea of drive-through convenience stores like that. The coolest thing where I was growing up was the drive-through liquor store. Like you pulled into it, looked like a car wash, but they would like bring beer out to your car. It's like the coolest thing ever.
That was what I was going to bring up. I've seen 2 of those here in Ohio.
You got those down there?
Yeah. Like,
it's got to be between the Cracker Barrel and a Cheesecake Factory, right?
You have to drive pretty far. Yeah, right.
It says here in a quick search, excuse me, 150,000 fueling stations, where 127,000 of those are convenience stores.
Time for the drive-through convenience store, man. Hey, I said it now. It's where the money's going to be. Hey, people are also lazy. They don't want to get out of their cars. You give them drive-through windows versus walking in. What about the bathrooms too? Like, how many gas stations actually serve as bathrooms for people that are traveling to? That's it, dude. I'm going to do the drive-through convenience store, and I'm going to put like 4 porta potties outside that you got to slide your credit card in to use.
Just sounds like 7-Eleven. No.
Yeah, but you can't use the bathroom at 7-Eleven. Like, how many people use? How many people use McDonald's just for their bathrooms when they're traveling?
Right.
Even McDonald's, they got to be thinking we're making more money without having the dining room open. They're going to go drive-through only. So we just set up these like convenience areas where it's like drive-through food. You get bathrooms over here. You got to go to the bathroom. It's $1. Slide your credit card in. You want to wash your hands? Put your credit card in, another 50 cents, and man, we could make some money.
I think you just find people with unwashed hands everywhere.
That's kind of how it seems today, anyways, right? Like, you give a discount, wash your hands, and we'll give you 25 cents.
Yeah.
Doing something for society.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. All right. I'm tired of looking at this. I'm going to go buy one. I'm looking at this thing.
Sounds good.
All right. I'll catch you guys
Later.